$24,000 spent to make $250,000 in the last 30 days on my ad account here for one of my e-commerce businesses. Now, this is a direct consumer business. I'm selling products with a dropshipping fulfillment model. So if you're watching this video, if you're dropshipping, if you're selling a product from a warehouse, right? Even if you're running a service-based business, I'm gonna be covering the Andromeda update that Meta released. A lot of people are saying their CPMs are higher, their CPCs are through the roof, and their ROAS is effectively getting lower and lower every single week. I've talked to people who are selling products in America, in Canada, in Australia, in Europe, all over the place, right? And all of these guys are telling me the same thing. They feel like their ad performance is dying. So in this video, I'm gonna try to give you guys, and honestly, anybody panicking about this update, a real strategy that you can implement by the end of this video to not have to face these problems when Meta releases updates like this. The difference between my ad accounts and probably your ad accounts or anybody else kind of panicking about this situation is honestly the systems that we've built around the algorithm, which is the Meta algorithm, right? This isn't something new. Meta continuously releases updates month after month throughout the year, and a lot of them you don't actually realize that there's an update, right? The biggest one I'd say was iOS 14 about 5 years ago, but this update, Andromeda, has continuously shifted over the last couple of months of this year. If you've been running ads, you've actually noticed your performance has definitely shifted. But now everybody is feeling the effects because it's fully been rolled out. But in this video, I'm gonna give you guys a real strategy that you can use after watching this video for your own ad account, so you can not only understand the Meta algorithm, but you can also take advantage of these changes that they're making to boost your ROAS and boost your profitability. So I'm going to explain those of you who are struggling, usually around 30K to 50K a month, and what I'm doing making over 100K a month and how that actually differs. But first, let's get into Andromeda and what this actually did to Meta. Here's a sample ad account from one of my students. What they were doing is actually about a 3.8 ROAS back in May, and now they're doing about a 1.98 ROAS, which is definitely a huge shift in their ad account. You can see they didn't really change how much they were spending. They spent like $2,000 or $3,000 less in the last month versus what they were doing in May, but their ROAS significantly dropped. So let's get into what Meta is actually doing with this, okay? Because basically how it used to work is that you would launch 10 different ads, okay? Say each of these dots here is different ads that you're launching, okay? And basically what it would do is it would treat each of these ads as individual ads. So here's one ad, here's one ad, here's one ad, okay? These are all individual ads, and it would treat each of these ads individually. So it would look at these ads individually. It wouldn't bias based off of, one or two ads. It would actually go specifically ad by ad by ad. So if you had 10 ads would be put into the placements of your delivery, okay? But now what it does is it actually takes your ad candidates, okay? And it groups them in these different buckets. It kind of puts ads into buckets based on similar copy, similar marketing angles, similar concepts, okay? So if you have, say for example, 10 different ads and all of them are the same kind of UGC, someone talking to the camera directly, is going to group all of those ads in one actual cluster. Even though you may have changed the first 3 seconds of every ad, maybe the sound on every ad is different, but it's going to actually take the concept of that ad and group them into one individual bucket. Then what Meta does with its actual model is it takes all of those ads in that individual cluster and it actually delivers only one of those ads to your customers. Now the problem with this is that if you are launching 10 different ads, right, you think they are different ads, you're putting time, effort, and money into generating these ads, but Meta is only delivering one of these ads from every single cluster. So before, what we used to do is, and what most people like yourself probably used to do, is 80% of the ads that you launched would be different kind of variations, right? You would change up the hook, you would change up the first 3 seconds, you would change up the call to action, but the actual ad itself would stay the same, right? Maybe you would use the same creative, right? You would just change up the copy, you would change up the headline, whatever it was throughout 5 or 10 ads. Now, what actually is the not best practice to do is not doing this 80% of the time, rather doing this 20% of the time. Because you want 80% of your actual ads that you launch being new ads. Because again, Meta's algorithm is not going to deliver different ads that are just changing up 1 or 2 things about them, right? Maybe it's the hook, maybe it's the sound. Because again, they're going to cluster these in individual buckets and they're only going to deliver one of your ads out of that bucket. So in simple terms, you want to be launching what is called a unique concept. So you do not want to be launching the same ad over and over again because again, Meta is going to cluster them inside of just one actual bucket and it's only going to deliver 1 or 2 of those ads, okay? So what you want to do is you want to be thinking of unique concepts to launch for every single ad in your ad account. This will allow you to only launch maybe 5-10 ads every single day or every other day, but it will allow Meta to actually deliver those unique concepts to the actual auction, right? If you're launching the same ad over and over again, it's just not going to actually push those ads anymore. So what you want to be thinking about is if you already have a winning marketing angle, right? Say this is your winning marketing angle. Instead of just changing up variations of that, right? Changing the hook, changing the sound, you want to be launching different formats, right? Maybe one format is UGC that is currently working. So you then go and take that same marketing angle and launch a unboxing style video, right? And then you go launch maybe a podcast style. But don't take that same marketing angle and just make 5-10 other UGC videos because it's not going to deliver as well as it used to. So what you want to do is you want to try to come up with different marketing angles and repeat those different marketing angles for the formats that are already working. And remember, this is what you want to be doing 80% of the ads that you actually launch, okay? Now, once you find something that works with one marketing angle and one format, you can make 20% of your ads as variations of that different, marketing angle or that same marketing angle in that same format. So maybe this is changing like the hook. Maybe this is changing the, call to action. But if you are launching 20 ads, okay, you want at least 16 of those ads to be unique concepts and you want only 4 of those to be different variations. The concept here is that creative diversity, aka unique concepts, matter way more than the amount of creatives that you launch. So if your ads look and they feel the same, right, with the same marketing angles and the same formats, Meta just compresses your reach. So how I have found my ads to work is I break them down by the desire in the ad that I'm actually marketing to the customers with, the avatar that I'm showing the customers of the actual person making the video, and the message that I'm making the video around, right? This is what I like to call the rule of one. So if I find one desire, one avatar, and one message that works, I'm going to take that format and recreate it in 5 to 10 other different formats, right? The unboxing format, the podcast format, a static image, right? A tutorial, a founder story, because that allows me to stick with the same marketing angle and the same kind of customer, different targetings that I'm doing with the desire, the avatar, and the message, and just recreate it in different formats. Now, here's the second part of this that you really need to understand. There's no more interest targeting that is going to work, and there's no campaign structure really that is going to differentiate how your results come out to be. It is all based around the creative that you give Meta, okay? It scans every detail in your video, who's in it, what is said in the video, how does it actually look, and it decides who to actually show your ads to based on those things. So if you want better targeting and you want better results, don't tweak your ad sets, don't tweak your campaigns. Simply what you need to do is you need to actually go forward, okay? And you need to create better creatives, more unique concepts, and less variations. Now, the way that I've been able to combat this is by training a team of internal UGC creators, people that are not only making me content to get paid for it, but they're actually incentivized to have their ads work. That's how I'm able to consistently generate a 5, 10, even 20 plus ROAS on some of the ads that my UGC creators are making me. If you want 100 unique creatives made for your brand every single month for less than $50 a video, you can message me the word UGC on my Instagram and I'll go ahead and connect you to my team to see if they'll be a good fit to help you make ad creatives for your brand. The next most important thing that you need to be doing with this Andromeda update is actually tracking what every single ad does inside of a spreadsheet. This is the customer personas that you're targeting, right? The desires, the overall message that your ad is creating, and you need to be tracking these things because if you do not track something, you cannot measure the success of it. So this is what I give to my clients at my UGC agency, basically to track what are the personas we're targeting, the desires, the messages, and we're able to say, does this work or does this not work? Because if it works, we then want to go make different formats, dozens in hundreds. Now, I'm going to go over what a brand that's doing around 30K to 50K a month is doing, from their ad structure to their offer to their email and SMS operations and their funnel, okay? So let's get into the ad structure. So what most brands who are doing 30 to 50K a month and they're just going like a roller coaster, right? They're not having consistent results month over month, is they're changing their setup, number one, okay? Or they're stealing creatives. Again, this is a really bad thing to do right now because if you don't understand why your creatives are actually working, you are going to be in a negative cycle over and over again. Or they're paying exorbitant rates for UGC, leaving them with little to no money to spend on their ads and actually test. Also, what they're doing is they're not testing new concepts, they're just doing mainly variations. They're stealing videos, they're changing the first couple seconds of them, and they're only launching a very limited amount of ads every month. Now, what their offer, where they're really going wrong is they're not actually working in seasonal and urgency different changes to their offer, right? Like we have Halloween, Black Friday, Christmas, the New Year's, right? They're not taking advantage of these seasonal changes and they're not making different offers, right? They've only tested maybe 1 or 2 offers and they have less than 10% of their customers actually returning to buy from them again. With email and SMS, they have weak pop-up rates, right? People aren't actually signing up to their pop-ups. Less than 5% of their revenue is coming from email and SMS, which is a big red flag because if you're paying for customers to come in, you should be getting at least 20 to 30% of them coming back to buy. And this is really because they set up really no setup at all with email and SMS. They have limited flows and no campaigns going out to their customers. On the operations end, you're probably doing everything yourself. If you're at 30 to 50K a month, you're still not doing things like custom packaging. You're probably drop shipping from China, and you are the one who's forced to make no money. What this means is that you are spending all of your time in the business rather than working on the business. And with your funnel, you're probably using some basic Shrine or Shopify theme. You're not really educating your customers with different pre-sales funnels, and you have a poorly optimized conversion rate, if a good conversion rate at all. Now, what separates somebody from doing 50K, 30K a month to over 100K a month profitably is the same kind of things. There isn't a lot more added, it's just doing the right things. With your ad structure, you have one setup that works, and this is because you are continuously launching unique creatives every single month, right? My actual, kind of great point to be at is at least 100 ads every single month. And this is because you are testing unique concepts 80% of the time. You're not paying $500 for UGC videos, you're paying $20, $50, right? And you have creators on what I like to call a performance model. So if they make you $10,000 at a profitable ROAS, you pay them 10% of that. This allows you to build a real creative system, right? Maybe you have a creative strategist, you have an editor, right? And you have a manager ensuring that all of these creators are actually delivering you content, so then your strategist and your editor can actually have things to do. Obviously, your creative system, you're tracking what ads work and what ads don't. And you're also hiring people to take advantage of things like ChatGPT and Claude, right? To make prompts and be able to actually categorize these prompts as to what prompts are working and which prompts are not working. For things like static images, this is very big. With email and SMS, you probably have some strong pop-ups, right? Stuff that is actually converting people to sign up to your pop-ups. You have 5 to 10 of the core email flows, probably even more. And you also are doing weekly campaigns. This is the biggest lever. Because you're having people sign up, you can easily get them to reconvert or convert for the first time by using AI to generate the emails. If you guys want an actual app that is built into Shopify and built into Klaviyo and costs less than $20 a month, you can actually sign up for JetFlow with the link in the description down below. They're the premier email partner that I use for all of my store's emails. It uses AI to generate your flows. It uses AI to generate your campaigns, the text, the copy, the images, all done for you within a couple of minutes. And this allows you to have 20 to 30% of your revenue come from email and SMS, which is a huge win when you're running paid ads. Now on the offer end, you're doing things like seasonal promos, right? You're constantly testing different bundles and upsells, and you actually have a subscription offer set up. If you guys have seen the Fabletics subscription offer, this is what I do for all of my brands. I allow customers to come back and buy more products for a monthly credit. They pay me $40 every single month to get a monthly credit of $40 delivered to them. And this allows returning customers to come back and actually buy more products. And the people doing over 100K a month are constantly dropping new products. And this leads me into the operations standpoint. Because you can't do this all yourself. If you're the only one working in the business, you are going to be continually working in the business, not on the business. So people who are doing over 100K a month obviously have something set up for customer support, maybe even a store manager to launch all these products, and a financial planner to understand who is actually making money in this business. You obviously have some sort of branded packaging, you have stock in a warehouse somewhere, whether it's in China or America or Europe, wherever you're based in, and you have better net terms with your supplier. Now, when it comes down to your funnel, you are actually making custom landing pages, right? Whether this is pre-sales landing pages or you just kind of build your website with gem pages, which is a very, very important thing to do because then you don't look like any other brand that is out there. You're obviously improving your conversion rate with congruency at this standpoint, and this is just somebody who's doing 100K plus a month like me. Now, for somebody who's doing over $100,000 a month like all my stores are doing, I have all of this set up. But if you don't have this set up, you need to really take a look internally to go and start setting these things up before it gets too late. Because if you don't want your store to be a roller coaster of results, right? Maybe one month you're doing 10K, maybe the next month you're doing 2K, maybe the next month you're doing 12K, and the next month you're doing 1K. You don't understand what is driving your performance. And as I said earlier, what you cannot track, you cannot measure. Now, this is just one module from my Multiply mentorship program where I hold your hand one-on-one and take you to making over 10,000 orders with your online business. If you've already hit 10,000 orders, I help you get to 100,000. My goal is to take my experiences from making over $30 million selling products online and implement it for you directly one-on-one. If you want to apply for that program, I'm only taking 2 more people on before this year ends, and I'm very selective about who I take into the program because I need to align with you and your goals. So if I don't feel like we can actually work together, I will let you know. But if you want to take the next step and apply to work with me one-on-one, the link is in the description down below. But anyways, guys, that's going to be it for this video here. I hope you got some value out of this and you actually move forward with the right inputs in this season of the Andromeda update and moving forward with everything to do with your e-commerce business.